Ed, you got any beer lovers in your life?
I certainly do. Carl, I do. I pretty much everybody I know is a beer lover.
Yeah. Was it like a neighborhood thing, Chicago thing?
Yeah, it's a Northwest Side thing. It's a Chicago thing. It's a, you name it thing. It's a Miller Lite thing.
It's a common sense thing.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Great tasting beer.
It's tis the season thing. Tis the season to get together with good friends and great drinks. That means tis Miller Lite time. Tis Miller time, really. Like the Friendsgiving season is here. And listen, you're going to be in charge of the turkey or the stuffing. Grab a nice 24-pack of Miller Lite while you're at it.
Especially if you have like those work holiday gift parties or whatever, you got to get a present for somebody. And everybody's trying to be funny. Everybody's trying to get like the zany gift. I dare you to walk into that conference room for that gift exchange with a 24 rack. And it's like, listen, I was going to make a joke, and then I was doing some shopping. I saw a case of Miller Lite. There's no time to be funny. I want you to have a great tasting, less filling Christmas experience, holiday experience.
And there's nothing worse than a gift that you won't use. Everybody will use that case of Miller Lite.
It's gone.
Yeah.
What happened to the beer? And then it's like the guy in sales drank it.
We enjoyed it.
It's like, damn you.
Ed, are we going to have a little Friendsgiving between you and I coming up? Some Miller Lights?
Probably not, but Miller Lite would certainly be the bond to bring us together if we did, Dave. If we did.
Well, let's do it. Or a couple Miller Lights.
And if you're looking for gifts for beer lovers, visit the Miller Lite shop at shop.millerlite.com. Their holiday collection features everything from cozy beer-inspired holiday sweaters to drinkable ornaments for your tree. This holiday, tis Miller time, so enjoy Miller time with your friends and family. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/redline to find delivery options near you, or you can give the gift of Miller time this holiday season, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. Tis Miller time. Celebrate responsibly, 96 calories. 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hey, how you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Chicago sports fans. This is Barstool Carl.
And Dave.
Chief.
Eddie.
And this is Redline Radio and All Gas, No Breaks, Chicago Sports Podcast, brought to you by Barstool Sports Chicago and our good friends at Miller Lite. We did a Christmas ad read there, little season's greetings before Thanksgiving, and I like it. I've started to flex the Christmas spirit a couple weeks in front of Thanksgiving for the first time consciously in my life, and honestly, it feels good.
Spread that cheer. Did you get a tree?
Tree's not up yet. I have the tree in the attic.
Some decor?
I got to go up and take it down.
See, that makes me sick to my stomach. You can't
Christmas lights.
say that you're a Christmas season guy and do the fake tree. You got to do the real thing.
I can't do a real tree on the third floor of a Roscoe Village flat. That is...
Like, if you were a Christmas guy, you'd figure it out. Airlift that thing.
Fire hazard. And I have a firefighter who lives on the floor below me.
A tree is a fire hazard? You just
Fuck yeah. Where the fuck have you been?
That makes it even better. You got a guy that can put out that fire should it maybe in the 1% chance it starts.
You just got to keep that thing hydrated. Keep it hydrated.
Yeah, but I can't keep myself hydrated. And now you're gonna put a plant, a big one?
My entire adult life, I have always had a real tree.
My
parents have swithed to a fake tree.
This is very early for this chatter.
Yeah,
it is.
This guy is a Scrooge. This guy is a Scrooge.
It's fucking November.
You have never put up a tree on your own in your life.
He's a Scrooge.
Fact.
And I've never had a real tree, but like it's November 17th.
Well, you're the least qualified person to talk about this.
We're not even a month out. We are more than a month out.
This is the last episode before we enter the socially acceptable time to put up a tree, which is the day after Thanksgiving.
So
after Thanksgiving, you can put one up. Yeah. So this is a little prep talk.
And the point is, this is the first time I've gone a little early.
Preseason,
35 years old.
Preseason, tis the season.
Last year I would have said the same thing. I'd said it's too early. And this year I opened my heart.
Like let Thanksgiving have a fucking second here.
Well, I'm gonna enjoy
Thanksgiving has a whole day.
Gets 2 birds.
Not on this show, apparently. We're fucking.
We can talk Thanksgiving.
All right, I'll pivot. I had an idea while we were talking about trees. In the world of horticulture, I would say a tree is like a horse. right? It's the most majestic of them. Like, I think horses are the most majestic animal, the most awe-inspiring. Look at that.
They're
fucking
definitely
thing.
up there for sure.
Horses.
Because like there are some other like, oh well, this thing's more badass, but just pound for pound, function and beauty.
Like a wild horse. I'm not even talking about like me and Chief's horse. Yeah, just like a wild horse. Like
just Americana, just running out in
the
wilderness.
vision that immediately popped into my head was when Daenerys, rather, I was about to say Cersei. Daenerys burnt down King's Landing, and the white horse with Arya ran off. Like, they're such fucking beautiful animals.
Game of Thrones. Just kidding.
You guys got any hoarder in you?
Hoarder?
Yeah.
I have a little bit for clothes.
None.
I just did a purge of clothes.
None.
Why do you ask?
Opposite of
Got some in me.
What are you hoarding?
Yeah,
Adriana
this is a little
Chechik memorabilia.
Dude, she's hurting.
Bad back.
That's
That's not a bad back. That's a broken
I got
back.
a bad back too. Threw it
Fact.
out. Threw it out open gym Friday.
Or bet. Or
You
what
got
is
a
it?
bad back now?
Bad
eyes,
one,
bad
no
back.
one else is
got
shocked
everything.
by this
I'm
story
not.
that Ed just run around playing pickup basketball.
Well, he was like, yeah, we were playing.
A guy who's been having the yips since 7th grade is now getting back out on the court.
Ed goes, we were playing a little pickup, and I hurt my back, and I said, pickup basketball. I thought he was gonna say bocce.
Yeah, pick
shuffleboard.
What did you do? Just set a bunch of screens?
Oh yeah.
Lots of screens.
That's my I can't shoot and I can't score.
What are you
so
gonna do when we get this new
it's-
office and we have a basketball court in there and we're playing
I can't.
fives?
You know, I just struggle to survive and just keep my breath. And you just
Are you doing
focus
full court?
Yeah, dude.
Whose idea was
that's
this?
a fucking great workout. You should be doing that
It
all
is.
the time.
Well, I'm just doing hockey shifts. You know what I mean? Like I switch out a couple other big guys. You know, just get in there, get some sweat, and really it just you just exert your energy on defense. You know, because you don't want to get too many backdoor cuts, easy layups. Because then it's like, hey, you got to get off the court if you're
And then
so
when
that's you can't really focus on offense. But embarrassingly not, like Ella I went up for a rebound and it was just.
Was it a loose ball rebound or did you have to box out?
It was like a
How up was up, by the way.
not up. I wish not up, dude. It was like
It was more of a reach than an up.
it was like one of those shots that really pings off and it goes up like a bing, and then it like and I had to catch it. Like kind of like a Willie Mays catch. Like I was like over my shoulder, so like a boom. So like, and come back down. I was like, ooh. Instantly just like
A tweak.
swapped out, and I'm like, my line mate's like, already, dude? I'm like, yep. And you're not getting another sub because I am done for the day. And it's like, what the fuck, man?
Did you call up your guy?
Who's my guy?
I mean, the number
got a
one
guy.
basketball trainer in the world.
Oh.
Trains all the top basketball players.
Yeah, that'd be nice if he could help me out.
Yeah, I'd say.
No, so but it's getting better. Trying to get right, you know.
Okay. Getting ready for next
I
year.
just like you don't play a lot of intramural sports, and so it's just funny to me that you go right to the most like dangerous, the biggest occupational hazard, or like by far the riskiest intramural sport is pickup basketball.
Yeah. It wasn't smart.
Could you
Was
just played
not
softball
smart.
or something?
But what do you think about that? What do you think about people who slide in softball still? You're a maniac, right?
You
I
have to,
slide.
honestly, like,
No,
there's a couple
really?
people that can
Fuck
do
yeah.
it.
yes.
There's a couple of people that can do it, and I say you have to slide head first because if you're going to slide, you have to take all the risk. People who slide feet first in softball, unless in those really competitive leagues that we went to. In that case, I'm not judging those
Yeah,
people.
Papa Hops
The
last
guys
year, I
that-
came back with the
not that
fucking
either, because Papa
strawberry.
Hops, like especially in an elimination game in a big tournament, I wouldn't judge someone for sliding if they were like serious and knowledgeable. Maybe I'd judge an idiot.
And if it's playoffs, okay. If you want to
Yeah.
slide in the playoffs, go for it.
Like 99% of softball games being played, no one should be sliding feet first.
Agreed.
Head first, then, because it's just a risk for yourself, and like you look like you can either do it or you can't. And the guys that do it, they're fucking lunatics. Like we got a guy on our team. Shout out to Kevin Blaha, Oak Park River Forest legend. He probably slides 3 times a game. He just like wants to get dirty. He wants like the raspberries on his elbows.
Yeah.
And some guys are just like that, but
Crazy.
you have to be so fucking passionate.
I'd love to have some passion in my life. Like, even if it was softball. Like, I just don't. I don't think there's anything that can get me to exert
What are you guys laughing about?
physical effort.
Well, nothing's gonna ever fucking get you moving. Like, I mean, I don't hate to bring it up, but nothing's gonna get this guy moving the way 3 Stanley Cups did in 5 years, ever. Like, you have that taste. It's all downhill, man. Everything.
Yeah. And I was talking about that the other day. Like, it just came up in conversation, but like being a part of that in 15, where I was like on the bus and spraying the champagne. It's like, I haven't had a good day since then. Like, that was it. That was 7 years ago. 8, 7, 7.
And all it took was, like,
got to know a guy.
Life-defining access.
Yeah.
The most famous piece of sports
Thank you, Scott Darling.
hardware
He didn't have nothing to do with those Stanley Cups.
in the history of humankind.
I mean, first of all, rude. Second of all, absolutely he did. They don't beat Nashville in the first round without him. And I don't care if he did or didn't. His name was on the cup, and he was my ticket into getting on the bus and spraying champagne. So, yeah, but yeah.
Hey, go see Scott Darling perform stand-up, or anybody perform stand-up. You guys can use the Game
saw him
Time
at
app,
Zany's.
the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports.
Yep.
You saw him at Zany's. I'll have to check if Zany's tickets
last
are
weekend.
on. I know that so many tickets are on Game Time. I have not searched for tickets on Game Time and not found them. They do everything.
I used them today. It's my dad's birthday this week. Got 4 tickets for Notre Dame. Used Game Time. Super easy. Great seats, low fees, easy to use, right on your phone. Game Time is the absolute best.
And especially with the holidays around the corner
It's a great gift.
and everybody, all the holiday cheer, Ed.
Yeah, I saw Bill Burr was here last week, 2 weeks ago. It was funny. He went to JP Graziano. He talked about his experience there. It was awesome.
Oh, I did miss that.
So yeah, there are stand-up comedians on there. Obviously, he's played at the UC, so maybe not Zany's or whatnot. But regardless, concert shows. It's not just sporting events, but if you need your Bears action, Blackhawks action, certainly Bulls action, download the Game Time app. Go to the account tab, create a login, redeem code RLR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Download Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
What is that promo code?
RLR.
I used it for UFC this weekend, and it was
Dave's
incredible.
back in Chicago for the first time in a month.
Yeah, what the fuck, Dave?
I was gone for almost the entirety. I got back Sunday. I left on the 2nd. So I was gone for almost 2 weeks.
Can we touch on that a little bit?
What?
How I've
Wait.
been banging the UFC drum for like years on this show.
No,
And
nah,
White
you haven't
Sox
been
Dave-
banging the drum.
Yeah,
well,
you're-
I mean, I was
I
you
could say
OG.
very seriously, like, when we were talking in early stages about, like, should we do more of this, less of that?
come on. Dave.
Eddie's like, do you have any, like, working knowledge of UFC? And I was like, I don't. I got a buddy who does. I'm trying to. And Eddie's like, it's a huge market. And I watch a lot of it. We don't have to force any conversations. But if you find yourself getting into it, like, I think it would be a good thing to mix in. And I was like, honestly, I can't see myself ever being a UFC guy. And you were like, okay, but then we still interviewed a couple UFC people when big fights would come up. So at least through the first year of the 4 of us doing Redline together, Ed had
Yeah, no,
definitely taken.
I would say
the-
more than a year, actually.
Yeah, like the necessary
I would say
steps
up
to be
until
like,
about maybe 6 months ago.
yeah, like, hey, I do UFC.
I'm not
It's
saying that
crazy.
Ed wasn't
White Sox
first.
Dave is the
You're
UFC
saying that
Fight Pass guy.
It did an interview on UFC.com.
I know. I'm like, what's going on here?
It was-
UFC just
Wait.
blatant disrespect from me.
Did
What?
you see he was like White Sox Day? Did you do like an appearance for like at the
like
UFC event before?
mid-round.
He's like,
mid-round.
The UFC official account tweeted like words
Yeah.
like rumors are White Sox Dave showing up with like
Yeah.
eyeballs emojis.
Yeah.
I had to check if it wasn't one of those like new Elon
No,
Musk
it was
Twitter.
real.
It was a verified account. UFC being like,
UFC just took me upside down and stuck my head in the toilet.
Yeah.
Dude,
You
what
could've-
a
I mean, you can't-
disrespect.
You could have. I mean, how often do you tweet about him?
I mean, Dave, I was tweeting about him in 2018 and beyond. I've
But
been watching him for
I'm
years.
like
Dave moves the needle.
zoned in and locked in every single
moves the needle.
card.
Oh,
There were
here's
times
the thing.
during
That can't be
COVID
true.
where Eddie was like, Eddie would be like begging for someone to be like, "You watching the fights this weekend?" Like just
Yeah,
come
I
to
would
me like,
put-
"Anybody do
Curtis
anything?"
Blades on the show had a
Pay-per-view?
fucking.
I was
nice
the one
interview.
that got you the.
Well, we went to the gaming thing, but I'm
Yeah.
saying I did the interview with him on the show. Curtis Blades.
I was on that with you.
I was dying for Curtis Blades to be the next heavyweight superstar. We need a Chicago guy in there. We need this.
The
we
guy
need this.
that fucking.
I might be. Bellator's in town this week on
I know, I
Friday
saw
at the
that.
Wintrust. I might become a Bellator guy in spite of this shit.
Go ahead. You can have that fucking half rate
Oh,
shit.
fuck you.
Dave, I mean,
Bellator's nice
the other
people.
thing is, if Dave hadn't discovered 3Chi, he probably doesn't discover UFC.
Oh, yeah.
They are linked at the hip.
Oh, they are.
3G
Yeah.
and COVID-19, really.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
But
3G and COVID-19.
You
were-
say you were like banging the drum. You were the only one that followed it at any level.
And to be
year
honest
plus
with you,
ago.
I'm not. It's cool that you did all this. To be fair.
I've said it over the last year or so. I have grown to love that sport. And it's not even the sport; it's everything that goes around it. And took in my first event at Madison Square Garden Saturday night, and it was, and I got super lucky because the card was. Did you watch it? Start to finish, it was amazing.
He was watching Bellator.
Yeah, he was.
I was so upset. I watched Saturday Night Live instead.
You could have came.
Dave Chappelle.
You could have came.
Oh no, I'm not. I wasn't invited. But UFC Fight Pass told me to go fuck myself.
They didn't tell you. I wasn't there because of them. I was there because of game time. But the event itself was absolutely fucking incredible. We had awesome seats. So I don't know if I'd rather be like where Dave and Dan were sitting, because you're kind of looking up. Like we were high enough where we're kind of looking down on the ring. So we had a great vantage point of everything that was going on. If they're on the ground or if they're standing up and boxing, it is the coolest live action or spectator sport. It's unbelievable.
I always
Absolutely
wondered that about
incredible.
big fights live. That I had this theory that it would be, and this goes for boxing too, because I'm obviously not a UFC guy. That while the fight is actually going on, it might be better on TV because you can see replays and you can see like all the
You have
angles.
the Jumbotron too.
Okay.
So you have that, and that's like you're watching on TV. So, in between rounds, they're showing all the replays and everything just like normal. But it was one of the coolest things I've ever done. I can't wait until they come back to Chicago again.
Yeah, 225. I remember that one.
On the Curtis Blades note, it was me, Aljamain Sterling's coach, like the main coach of his gym. I think his name's Manny. I'm blanking on his name. And then Francis Ngannou. Those are the three guys on the pre-fight interview. The fucking guy
That's very funny.
It's super funny
Yeah.
because I was super, super nervous that I'm like, I don't know what I'm fucking talking about yet with this sport. I'm so new to this that they're gonna be peppering me with all these questions. I'm like, oh, what about UFC? 103 back when Chuck Liddell fought, and I'm like, but they knew that going in,
that
and that's why they
you're a
targeted me. They
casual.
said. Is because they want more people
like the casuals.
that have
like I have
fallen in
no
love.
problem saying like I'm a casual. Like people like the UFC hardos like love to fucking
And
shit
there's a
on
lot
the
of them out
casuals.
there, yeah.
But 225 in 2018. That was a great card. Fucking Romero Whitaker. That was that one CM Punk got fucking dummied.
Which one?
225, I believe it was. You remember that one?
Well, I mean, you're the UFC guy.
I mean, I didn't know CM Punk did UFC.
Really? You don't remember that?
I don't.
Didn't go well. Even I knew that.
But yeah.
So
it's
what's
awesome.
the path forward? Ed, you want to partner with Dave? It sounds like.
They're gonna
He'll
start.
at the very least, should there be a big fight, especially if they come to Chicago soon, like we can talk about it. But you didn't watch any of it. The fight card was incredible, start to finish from the early prelims.
I watched Molly's fight, obviously.
What do you think of Molly's fight, Dave?
I said what I thought about it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, she got her ass kicked, but she's tough as nails, and she's gonna bounce back. And I think this will be a good learning experience for her. The numbers don't lie. She was what, plus 900 or plus 300, right? So she was a big dog.
Do you follow Portnoy on Twitter?
I do follow Portnoy on Twitter.
Do you have any regrets?
Did you watch the rundown yesterday?
No, I don't. No, I did not.
Okay.
What?
Well,
why
I
are you
didn't see
asking
it.
Tom what happened?
No, I just wanted to know if Dave thought he was maybe unfairly torn apart over that
I did
tweet.
not watch it either. Can you fill us in?
I was unfairly. I was lumped in with Nadu. I would have never
Well,
done.
I think
any-
he's talking about the rundown that Tom watched yesterday.
Yeah, well, Dave Portnoy, you got lumped. Basically, Dave Portnoy was like lumping you in with Nadu. It was unfortunate.
If you go and look at
I
all
thought
the
Nadeau's
videos,
was
I was
worse.
cheering my fucking dick off for her the entire time.
What
And
Nadeau did was dumb,
I
but what
thought
you did
Nadeau's
was not
worse,
smart
but
either.
it was tough that what you did.
But what
yeah.
did Nadeau do for people who didn't?
Oh well,
Do
it was
we
like
deactivate
immediately after Molly lost. Like Nadeau tweeted out his bet slip that he had bet
Against her.
Against her.
But,
he was,
like, that
Did
almost
he know
gloating.
Molly is a part of Barstool? when
Of
he did
course,
that?
I'm
yeah.
sure, yeah. He just,
And then, but White Sox Dave just tweeted like she got her ass kicked with the shocked emoji. Like, oh my god.
I mean, everybody who watched the fight, I shouldn't have said it like that at all.
I think it was just kind of like the timing of it.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
It was a little too immediate.
Yeah, because it's not like someone you would do that. Like, it's not like Smitty or something you could fuck around with when it comes to regards to
Definitely.
like that's
definitely.
her life, that's her career.
Of course,
like it's
of
a little more
course. I
serious
shouldn't have
than,
said
like,
it
a rough
at that
and rowdy
time.
loss.
I was fucking, I was excited being in the house and everything. At the same time though, like I said, I wrote a blog about it even. Molly will bounce back. Anybody who's been in her orbit for just a handful of days like we have, when she was out here in
Yeah, that's
August,
why I was surprised you did it. She's sincerely one of the best
She's
people ever.
a badass, and
Yeah.
and I'm not saying badass like in she's
awesome.
walking
She's
up to you and like intimidating. She's badass. She's an awesome
One
human.
of the sweetest people
Yeah,
ever.
she is. She's gonna get better from this. That's I think that she would say that herself.
Yeah, but we're more about like, all right. So you didn't see what Dave said, but any
Of course,
quick
I saw what
okay.
Dave said. Dumb fuck. How am I
I said on the rundown, and don't call me a dumb fuck. I'm sitting here trying to facilitate the fucking conversation, and Tom's sitting here talking about the rundown, and you're talking about the fucking tweet.
Yeah, he talked a lot about it on the rundown. It was pretty relevant. I mean,
So I'm asking if you have any final thoughts, we can move on.
and there was one other thing I wanted to ask that Dave Portnoy brought up. He said that he thinks you don't care unless you saw it already. Like, do you think you care what Dave Portnoy thinks about you?
What? Explain that.
Dave Portnoy said he thinks in your world you don't care or think about whether he likes you or not.
Of course, I think about that. He's my boss.
I know. Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask.
Did he say he thinks that he doesn't care?
Yeah,
That's
I
interesting.
mean, I don't know where he would get that from.
it was the tweet that he was really mad about it. He just thought that you weren't
I
thinking about.
mean, Dan reached out to me immediately, and Dan said he defended me. Like I said, I don't know what exactly what was said. I can imagine what was said. He's like, yeah, you just got unfairly lumped in with Nadeau, and I'm like, yeah, I think. And I told Dan the exact same. I'm like, I shouldn't have rapid fired like that. I was just, in the heat of the moment.
Should have left it in the drafts. Like it wasn't.
Yeah. I also think that if Gay Pat or somebody like that had said the exact same tweet, it would not have gotten on Portnoy's radar. It's like I do think that Dave.
I disagree. I
I
disagree.
Oh.
I saw both of them in real time, and I was like, ooh, I did. Truthfully.
See. I read it the next day because you told me about it. I didn't even know what was going on, and I was like, I don't think that tweet.
But like, to be clear, Nadeau's was a trillion times worse than
Way
Dave's.
worse. Way worse. But
Like that was like, I'm a sharp, like
Right.
I was all over it. Dave's is just like, ooh, she got her ass kicked. Like
Yeah.
what he said, where it's
I
like,
was thinking what I said, what
Correct.
literally the entire planet who watched that fight was thinking, and I shouldn't have. I wish I had it. Not even because I don't want to piss Dave off, because like Ed said, which I don't want to piss Dave off. I truly like Molly. She's awesome.
She's the GOAT. She's the GOAT.
She's awesome, and I wasn't trying to like rub her nose in it or anything. It happened. That's exactly what happens in UFC, though. It's gonna happen to everybody.
and there is an element, obviously, like he fucking really, really likes her, so he's super protective of her.
And
too,
I love that about Portnoy too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a
for sure.
great thing.
And like rightfully so. Like she's the best. Like and
Exactly.
We've
She's
said
a
that
great
a million
ambassador
times at this
for
point. But like if you spend
Many different.
if you spend
things.
5 minutes around her, like you know what we mean. So
yeah.
I guess just take our word for it. Sorry. I guess that's my like going to Elton John with her and going to the bar with her after we all felt that, I should say.
Anybody sniffing Halle Berry's chair? We'll come back to that. Testosterone is an important part of a man's body and health, but men's testosterone starts to deplete with age, which is why it's important you support it early. A sign of low T can include a decline in energy and stamina, weight gain, hair loss, and low sex drive. Roman's testosterone support supplements were designed by real doctors to help maintain their body's natural testosterone production. The daily supplement includes 6 nutrients to help support testosterone levels, bone health, and muscle development. Important announcement, I have started this routine effective yesterday with dinner.
Really?
Yeah. I have a bunch of, I got a shipment from Roman. They were like, here's a testosterone thing. Here's how this works. It's
How do you
a
feel?
90-day supply. I'm not even joking. Today, like I took it last night with dinner. And today I was like,
Yeah.
I felt something inside. I was like, did something different? I was like, oh, I did take those.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not saying I was doing, I didn't go to the gym and start throwing the weight around yet. But I feel it in my.
It's building up a little bit.
Yeah, because you listed off some things here where you said a decline in energy, check, stamina, check, weight gain, check. Still got all my hair good, low sex drive. I just don't care.
I was
going to
say, dude,
anymore.
you look like you're thinning a little.
I'm not. You wish. That's like your number one
I
wish.
do.
but
That is
it's
something I
just,
do wish.
I got that. I'm good there, but I mean, 3 out of the 4. It's not great. So I think maybe I'll join you on that, Carl.
Well, I have a special offer for you, Chief.
Hit me with it.
I'm going to give you a link for 20% off your first order of testosterone supplements so you can get ready to
Love that.
Yeah, get that sex drive going, get the stamina up. Just go to getroman.com/redline today. That's getroman.com/redline for 20% off. And now Roman T Support is also available nationwide at retail. Find Roman T Support in the supplement aisles at your local Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Folks, you don't get that type of shelf space without proven success. Check it
Beauty.
out. Get roman.com/redline, 20% off.
I like that a lot. I actually am going to try because I would love to have that feeling where you're like you need to have sex. Like you need it. Like when you were in your 20s. And I just don't feel that anymore. Like, So it'd be nice to.
Hey, babe.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be nice to have some
You want to be,
again.
walking around like a little dog with the little pink thing running around, hanging out of his wiener.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a little.
I mean,
little
it's just
spry
I
puppy.
actually don't want to be walking around with an erect dick, which is what
I was
that is.
speaking metaphorically. You
Yeah.
want that feeling where you're just constantly horny.
Yeah. It would be
Again.
nice.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to feel young.
Generally, I'd like to remind listeners that we have post-Bears game recaps up where we take callers and the 4 of us interact with different people. I've thoroughly enjoyed those. So those are up after every Bears game. Now we're putting them up like that night or right after. So thank you, Danny Lance, for that. But we covered a lot about the Bears game reactions.
I'd like to say too, okay, we are doing those like pretty much directly after the game, and doing that like you have a little bit of a different conversation. It's more rapid, right? Like you're not going
It's a
back.
vibe check. Kinda,
Yeah, it's kind of a vibe check. You're not going back and watching everything. Like you might miss some, some injury reports after the game, and it's just a different conversation. But I'm happy that we got it right on Sunday, because this is in reference to the fucking Sun Times article
that.
when they're like, oh yeah, let's make it about Justin Fields not being able to lead the team to a victory. And we were like, hey, like, yeah, it's disappointing, but hey, like, let's keep perspective here. Like, how is that your
We're talking about you,
conclusion?
Rick Morrissey.
Yeah, like
that,
Rick Morrissey
Yeah.
wrote it? Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
Man, he must have got. I mean, honestly, that's so bad that you would imagine someone was like, "Hey, you have to write this so that we get
Almost.
clicks."
Yeah. Now, that may,
And if that's a click game, like, hey,
yeah.
all
Then I
right.
get it, but there's no way Rick Morrissey stands behind that reasoning. Seriously.
And isn't the Sun Times a subscription base? So
It
like,
is.
right. So they're
People
not
are paying
really
for that.
Then they're not
No,
really.
sometimes actually just dropped subscription.
Oh.
They dropped their paywall.
Okay.
Within the last couple weeks.
That was part
so maybe
of
it is a click
yeah.
thing. And it could be a situation where he wrote something, because I did not click. I'll be honest. All I saw was the headline. And the headline pissed me off. But it could have just been like the editor threw that up as the headline of an article. So
If they took the paywall down, the comp is definitely different based on those clicks.
yeah.
There's definitely an incentive to write inflammatory stuff. Here's kind of where I will get not angry, but like here's where it bothers me. Is like they sometimes have fucking access. I don't even need to be friends with people at the Bears, or like we don't. It would just be nice if someone was like, "Hey, does anybody want to come out to, training camp? Would anybody want to sit in the back?" We don't even have to say yes or no, but like we don't even exist in that fucking world, and we're over here having reasonable like reactions to the Bears losing a heartbreaking fucking game. Meanwhile, credentialed people are walking around for clicks. That's the fucking world we live in.
The headline is end of ground. Despite another dazzling rushing performance, Fields again can't execute in crunch time as Bears blow a 14-point lead, fall to lowly Lions. All right, can't execute in crunch time. So they failed the final drive with 2 minutes left. All right, technically, I guess not inaccurate.
But this is the exact argument.
That's like you're burying the lead of the game. I feel like he was the only reason that he is their offense. Like he is like he makes so many plays just
and the
by
running backs.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
though.
no, I
like,
get you. Yeah,
he makes plays, and that touchdown run that this first touchdown run he had, where he was sacked like 3 times, and somehow he ended up in the end zone. So to lead with, oh, he can't get it done in crunch time, fuck off. And it's also like you're a wet blanket. The whole city is feeling good about the quarterback position for the first time, I don't know, theoretically ever. And because the city never really wrapped their arms around Cutler. So this is the first time like it feels like the vast majority of fans are feeling good, and you're just dousing water on it. And it's just not accurate.
And maybe they weren't, right? The written word is always a tough one, as we know.
Someone at the Sun-Times wrote that headline. So
it's
I'll say
so fucking dumb.
But I think that the people listening to this, our guys, like the Red Line guys, the people that have like subscribed to the type of the way we talk about shit. I feel like everybody in that group would see the Rick Morrissey article and laugh. I feel like our guy, like people who follow the show, would almost every single one of them would see that article and be like, "That's fucking trash." And I actually like that. I take pride in that. We have like, I know that the fucking guys that tune into that space and the Spazzies or whoever we're talking. Who's the guy we like?
Classy. The guy with the Cubs shirt and his
Cleasy.
Oh,
yeah, he's the record store
like a guy like
Yeah,
Cleasy
yeah.
is gonna come in and just be like, "Fuck Morrissey."
He got you that record for you.
Appreciate that. Thank you,
Nice
Cleasy.
guy.
Yeah.
And that's good. And I want to focus on that. Thank you guys.
Yeah. So you're right. But it's just interesting because, like I said, that's a good way to put it, Chief. It is very much a vibe check show, just to get the pulse of the fan base, pulse of us directly after a Bears game. And that's not much has changed, I would say, since then. I mean, dude, and that's one of those things where now you've had a couple more days to feel about it. And full disclosure, we're recording on Tuesday this week, so it's only like 2 days.
Yeah.
But I already feel that much better. Like,
Me
I'm
too.
like, it's already in the back rearview mirror, and I looked at fucking tankathon.com, and I see that we got the 6th pick, and I'm already more happy. And it's like one of those things in the moment, it was like, damn, I'm kind of bummed out, but I'm happier a couple days later. Because, dude, especially with all these quarterbacks up top, if we're in a position to have a really good pick and we could get one of the best players available that's a position player, like, it could be very fucking good.
Yeah. It would be nice to set ourselves up to be in a position like the Eagles are in for this coming draft, where they have their quarterback. They're one of the best teams in the league. Oh, and they're going to have a top 5 pick because they own the Saints pick because they made good trades. So it would be nice, maybe not this coming draft, but the one after, like the Bears trade out of that spot somehow and then pick up an extra first. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we have another top 10 pick and we're one of the better teams in the league.
Yeah.
That's the goal, to be like the Eagles. And this is, it feels good to not be like, well, we have to either trade up to get a quarterback or trade, you're going to get a good player and then who knows what else.
It's crazy, too.
Yeah.
How about fucking... I mean, the mock I saw, they got Skoronski going fucking top 5.
I saw that.
That'd be sick. He's a good kid. Wouldn't hate that.
Yeah.
He's
What
not
high
a
school?
tackle, though. Main South.
What?
He's
Main
a
South.
Park Ridge
Main
kid?
South kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking kid loves Chipotle on Northwest Highway.
He's had a couple of snappy sticks.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that he has. That, from everything I understand, he is clean cut and just one of those freaks that doesn't put a thing in his body that shouldn't be there. Valedictorian at Maine South, valedictorian at NU. He's like,
He'd have a snappy stick with me, I think. I think he'd have
Definitely
a
would
snappy
he.
stick with me.
just saying that.
Do
you want a guy like that though that can't have a little fun?
Let's make it about
I can
make it
confirm that he has fun.
before the
I
NFL
can
draft.
confirm that he has fun.
Before the NFL draft, can Ed get him to have a snappy stick with him? Do you think?
I think
before
listen.
before the NFL draft, like he's combine, he's valedictorian.
Yeah.
He doesn't put anything in his body.
I need my guy to stay laser focused, so I'm not going to do anything to throw him off. I need him to stay healthy, finish out the rest of the season. Listen, no bad vibes from.
If I were him, I wouldn't even play the rest of the season.
For real. The team at large, whatever they need. Well, what do they got? 2 more games left?
Yeah,
3?
2 more games.
2 more games. Illinois, and who do they play this week?
Who do they play this week?
I don't know. Whoever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Whatever.
It's shocking that they're like a miracle week 1 win away from going 0-12.
Yeah.
Like,
But yeah, you're right. Supposedly he's just.
We'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah.
Because I do got a few notes.
I like that.
Oh.
I like that. I like that.
Watch
We got
out.
some-
22.
Wait, so here, hold on. Let's go down the
for
mock
Tankathon-
draft right.
Tankathon.
Yeah,
Here's what
Tankathon.
Tankathon has right now. The Texans #1 overall pick, C.J. Stroud. Number 2, the Raiders, Bryce Young. Number 3, Carolina Panthers, Will Anderson, the edge rusher from Alabama. Number 4, the Eagles have the Saints pick with Jalen Carter, a D lineman out of Georgia. Number 5, the Jaguars taking Peter Skoronski out of Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
And number 5, Miles Murphy, the edge out of Clemson.
That Jaguars.
Put a W
Jaguars.
and an I in Jaguars.
Jaguars.
Every week it's something new.
And then 7 is Will Levis. So it's like, to be in that quarterback bunch is nice.
You said C.J. Stroud. I don't want to talk much about him, but I do want to. I saw a statistic this weekend that made me gasp. He has like 77 touchdowns in last season and now through however many 10 games this season. So not even 2 full seasons. And like the next closest in Big Ten history in 2 full seasons is Drew Brees, and he's got like 63 touchdowns. Like C.J. Stroud is putting up. I didn't know that till I saw it. Like I know he's good. I know he's going to go very high in this draft. I just didn't know he was that much better than anybody else who'd played.
And they just have so many weapons.
Yeah,
that's
the catch-22 with him and I'd say Bama quarterbacks.
Did you see the catch from Marvin Harrison this weekend?
He's a freak.
And he's not even draft eligible.
The left foot is going out of bounds, and right before it touches down, he lifts it up in the air and taps the other foot in. It's one of the most unbelievable highlights I've ever seen in my life.
He is like the opposite of his father. Like the way he reminds me more. If someone had been like, no, that's actually Megatron's son, I'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Well, they'd say like, imagine if Randy Moss could, had the fucking Marvin Harrison's like first step or something or his route. It's like, well, no, Marvin Harrison has it. Say all that shit because when you see those guys make those plays, and then we come in Sunday and it's like,
we don't have anybody like that.
Not even close. And we have 2 like productive
you got 2 good
NFL
ones.
receivers on the roster, and you're like, dude, you guys aren't even in the fucking same conversation.
Or even during our spaces where there's like the wildest game of the year is Bills Vikings and Justin Jefferson's just putting on a fucking clinic.
Did
How
he
about- 'cause
go
the
like
question
13 in the draft?
I think it was 18 or 19.
18.
And the Eagles took the kid out
man.
of Rager out of TCU, like 1 pick. That was like the viral clip where the Vikings like war room
Yeah, yeah.
couldn't believe
That they passed, right.
and then they like sprinted up to get that pick in.
Good timing on the Justin Jefferson catch from the Twitter Spaces because it was like, well, I don't know, they draft high like a trench play, not sure, but a receiver can really change the dynamic, and then it's like, hey, anybody just see this Justin Jefferson catch?
Yeah, and I'm watching that right now, too.
Yeah.
I saw that.
You know
That
what?
looks very good.
I said we fucking trade up for a
Yeah,
receiver.
exactly. And then my last Bears note, I guess, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen this weekend in Atlanta. They were a dumpster fire last week on Thursday Night Football. A little bit more time to prepare. But they've still been like a weird team that's been able to play well in certain spots. But at the same time, Mariota's
He's
very
not the
good
guy
either. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if
Mariota, the Falcons are one of those teams where it's like maybe they'll trade up for the Bears pick to go get a quarterback.
maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Are the Bears scouting Kyle Pitts this weekend? Someone at a wedding this weekend was like, yo, Kyle, what do you hear about Bears first rounder for Kyle Pitts?
did you end up
Really?
being at the same wedding as Castellani?
Oh,
No.
Tommy.
Tommy.
Tommy. Sorry.
No.
Okay. All right.
But similar venues.
Okay.
Bridgeport Art Center, Rockwell on the River.
All right.
We were there in spirit.
Okay.
But someone said I had never heard that. Is that a thing? Anybody? Kyle Pitts for our first rounder? Is he available?
I haven't heard that.
Okay.
Do you need? I mean, I don't even think you need him, right? Like Komet's emerging. They're kind of. I mean, Pitts is probably more athletic.
Yeah, if any, I mean, fucking draft Michael Mayer for going tight end.
He is something else.
He is.
Yeah. But whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. All is.
They're gonna have a lot of.
I want that
options.
Jalen Carter. That's the guy that I want.
That's your guy?
Yeah.
Oh, we're picking.
I
now, if
think-
you thought Christmas was a little fucking
Nah.
early in the opener ad,
Like,
now we're picking draft picks.
When
Yeah.
I didn't
mean to do that, but
something clicks in my brain as soon as a team gets to 7 losses, because then it's like it's over.
Now you're talking about the draft, right?
Yeah, you're into
thinking
the
next
future.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a good feeling though, because everything looks to be going according to plan right now.
Yeah.
It's the best 3-7 scenario of all time.
And I'm looking
For
at
sure.
the
Yeah.
schedule. Actually, I'm not. because
Yeah,
I
let's go
clicked
through
out
the
of it.
schedule for next year.
Well, Falcons, I'd say toss up. Jets, loss.
I mean, I was joking, but
For next year, okay,
Packers.
2 against the Packers. Probably split those. Other things, closing
1,
thoughts.
2, 3.
that's really it. I don't know. It's,
I think they got at least 5 losses on them still, but maybe not.
It's a weird spot in Atlanta this week.
Do we got an opening line?
Dude, what if the Bears fired Eberflus and made Getsy the head coach and like?
Oh, this is interesting. This is interesting, Carl. Not like, but not totally unlike, but not like at all, like the Adam Gase, John Fox situation.
Right,
Remember that?
Yeah.
You remember that shit?
I had a thought the other day, but similar thought.
Remember Gase? That was the best.
That was
the best Cutler ever looked for us.
He was incredible that
By
year.
far.
Yeah. He was incredible.
Far. And we're like, yeah, like, well,
What do we
can't
do?
just, you know,
Yeah.
can't do it.
I have a guy that I think would be perfect to fill in for Getsy when he inevitably leaves, and I think it's Tommy Rees. I think it's Tommy Rees for OC of the Bears.
Would he do that, though?
What?
Come on, give me some
I think he would.
NFL experience, Chief. He's got to
No,
have he's got to know the league.
He's been a.
I mean, I love
He
Tommy
can't
Rees,
be
but, like,
calling plays against Marshall and then
you guys-
scheme up against
You
Dan
guys don't
Campbell.
watch, and you guys don't.
I
don't
watch
Yeah,
almost
all right,
every
all right.
single Notre Dame game.
And then we had
Get my buddy Doug from
had-
Dunning to coach the O-line.
No,
man.
you guys are crazy. He's known as like the rising guy in college football.
He's
we
not
had
rising anymore because he's the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame.
But like, Chief, he needs more time.
And he-
like
yeah,
let the guy get more. Like, let
what
the
is
guy
he,
get more reps at
26
Notre
years
Dame.
old, 27 years old?
30.
Is he that old already?
Yeah, bro.
I think
Class
Did
of
it?
09.
How many
Like
yards did they
Forrest.
have in the second half last week?
they're playing Navy. Who cares? They won the game. They're up 35. They have
Fuck you.
They have a 5'10".
Fuck you for this.
They have a 5'10"
Fuck
quarterback.
you.
Why fuck me?
Because you're putting me in a position where I have to be critical of Tommy
You
Rees.
don't
and I
have
don't
to
want
be.
to be.
You don't
no,
have to
because this
be.
is
I'll
pretty
do it.
absurd for you to say.
No,
this.
it's not.
Yeah,
It's
No, it's
fucking
not.
crazy.
pretty absurd.
All right, you know what? We'll circle back on
Okay.
this. Remember
and
this for 2 years.
I don't want to do this. I love Tommy Rees, but
I don't think you do. You don't believe.
it's not that I don't believe. I just
Ed
don't
loves
think
the Bears more than he loves Tommy
loves
Rees's
the
like
Bears-
career opportunity.
in a situation like, all right, if we're gonna go local, like I fucking love a local story. You want to talk to
I don't
Tommy
care
Rees
if
5
he's
years,
from
little
fucking Mars.
little more fucking.
I don't care
Little
if he's from fucking Mars.
A little more crackle pepper on him? Sure, give it to me. Right now, you're going to go local guy. Give me fucking Kafka.
I was
Poach
just
him
getting-
over here.
thank you.
Yeah.
St. Mary's
That's the
Starlight
easy
FC,
one.
Yeah,
class of 2001.
That's a
Yes.
1,000% the
I don't
easy
care
one.
who's
Poach him over
local.
here.
I don't care if he's local. It has
Well,
nothing to do
but
with
that's
it.
why he's in your brain in the first place because he
No,
coaches
it's
your
right.
team and he's
You know
local.
what it is?
100%.
It's Dan
100%, bro.
Orlovsky just breaking it down like everything that Rees does to get
And
the
that's
most
not a
out
shot
of a
against Tommy.
5'10" quarterback from Connecticut, and he just schemes everything up. He put on a fucking clinic against Clemson. Like, and it was just his brain. It was just his brain.
Defense also played pretty fucking good against Clemson.
They got a good defense.
Yeah.
They got a good
Played
defense.
pretty fucking good
They got a
against
good
Clemson.
defense. I'm talking about the offense. Tommy Rees doesn't have anything to do with the defense. The
I know,
offense
just
put
saying.
it on a fucking clinic. Yeah, I like Marcus Freeman too. You guys are sleeping. You guys
We're
are
not
sleeping.
sleeping. We're just like-
and haters.
No,
You're
we're
haters.
not.
You're haters.
No,
Uh-huh.
dude. You know this is bullshit. No,
We'll
first
circle
you
back.
didn't ask for
Offensive
this. You just
coordinator
opened them
to-
up like for a fucking.
We'll circle back.
Because I was saying, like, Getsy looks so good and the momentum.
He
and
does.
like,
You
hey,
know what
we
I think
fired
this is, right?
Eberflus and hired Getsy, which was Yeah, a little preposterous, but I don't think
little?
It's preposterous.
His comment's more preposterous than my comment.
Listen.
I don't
it's
know.
a little preposterous because I'm saying down the road.
Yeah, so
This
so
could
am
be.
I.
It is.
I don't think it is, but continue.
The Bears very likely confront a day when it's like, well, Getsy's going to leave. Based on what we've seen the last couple of weeks, it would appear the Bears will have at a later date some sort of conflict about, well, Getsy's probably going to leave. And then it's like, well, who's more important for the Bears' success at that time?
Yeah.
And in that position, then, some people would probably say, well, fucking turn the team over to Getsy.
And I should say it's totally different than John Fox. John Fox was on his fucking third team.
But some parallels from like the
Yeah,
young,
exactly.
unproven coordinator,
Where we
which
knew
is
in-
something to kick around. And you come over here with the fucking nuke.
I know exactly what
Flying the Enola Gay over the Red Line radio studio, dropping the fucking...
Fat boy.
No. You guys, I mean, you weren't here for that conversation with that agent where he knew the guy when Tommy was with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Bro.
And he's like the guy.
We're just like over. This is the thing where it's like
We're talking 3
overcorrection.
years from now. It's not over. How old is Luke Getsy?
40-something.
Well, you said 3 years from now?
Yeah, like how long do you think this is going to take?
Oh, he's saying like if this comes like this year.
That's what I
Oh,
thought.
no.
Oh,
Yo,
I meant
you
within
think
the
Getsy's
next-
getting hired
I
like
meant-
this offseason?
I meant within the next 16 months.
Yes, that's what he's saying. Like
Yeah.
he's saying like for instance like if
Like the
Getsy was
Bears
getting-
will be awesome when the Bears are awesome next year.
Yeah.
And they're fucking scoring 36 a game.
because
Every
Gase
game.
happened right away, bro. Gase was only with us for a year.
Yeah, I know.
And I remember in real time.
Didn't Gase have like the run with Manning too?
Yeah, he was with the Broncos guy. But
yeah.
it's so funny too, listening to other people talk about Gase. Like I see Tom looking over there, his eyes twitching, and fucking like everyone hates Gase so much. Dude,
I
Gase
know.
was so good for us.
I mean,
not even like good, but like just 2015
He did
we
the-
weren't good,
yeah,
but he was
no-
just pretty stellar.
He did what nobody else could do.
But they had a good offense that year.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
But interesting.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Gase's career ended when they had that picture where he had the crazy eyes.
Yeah, that press conference.
Yeah. From that moment on, he was just like, oh, well, this guy's just insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's no longer a mad scientist. He's just mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if, you know what? Worst comes to worst, I just, call up Jeff Saturday to run this offense, and I think we'll be in good hands.
That was something.
All right. No, thank you, Chief. I thought you meant like next year.
No. Although
right.
I don't. I mean,
We just had like a 10-minute useless conversation. So
I
That's what I thought.
want
I
to
was
put
on
that
your
on.
side. I was like,
I
you're
want to
insane
put that on the
if you think
radar.
that.
I think I would make a prediction that Tommy Rees will eventually end up as a important coach for the Bears. I'll say that right now.
all right, maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Like
I don't
Yeah.
think. No, you hate him. No, you hate him.
you're an idiot.
You hate him.
No,
You
I
hate him.
love
It's fine.
Tom. Stop.
You made it sound like it was gonna
Yes,
like
thank you.
Dude,
hypothetically.
he's
this
like
year.
a wonderkin though. Like
That
he
may
is.
be true, but it's his
It
first
is
year
true.
as an offensive coordinator,
it's
and
not. It's not.
okay, he was handed last year mid-season.
He's been the play caller for 3 years. So this is what I mean. You guys aren't paying
Shut up!
attention.
Shut up!
You're not
No,
paying
how
attention.
long has he been offensive
Nah, nah,
coordinator
nah.
for?
With that title?
Yes.
Well,
Nope. There is no well. How long?
I think this
No,
is
no, no.
year. I'm answering
How
your
long?
goddamn question.
How long?
I think this is year 3.
That is incorrect.
Get him, Mad Dog.
When?
This is his first year
Nah.
as the offensive
No, it's
coordinator in name.
No,
And
it's
unless
not.
it was mid-season last year.
No. He was going to take the Oregon job, and so then he went back and they gave him a bump and they gave him the title. So I'm right about that.
All right, Dave.
He
Tell
was
me
the
about
quarterback coach who was effectively offensive coordinator because he was calling the plays.
What do we got, Carl?
I mean, you tell me. I was say quickly, Illinois lost 2 games. Be back for bowl season.
They're still
I'll
going to
clean
win.
that up.
Are they still going to win that
No,
division?
Purdue is, unless Purdue chokes now.
Purdue could lose.
They could, because that
Indiana
division
stinks.
completely
Whatever,
sucks.
they're 5-5. Shut up.
Are you disappointed?
Purdue is 5-5. Yeah, a little bit. The Michigan State was a collapse because I was with a lot of my Illinois friends for a wedding, and we were watching as we're getting ready, and you're kind of like, nah, 17-9, they'll be fine. It's like 23-9, they'll be fine. So that was kind of shitty, but we were like you're together with your Illinois buddies when they lose. So, and I was like, oh, whatever. It's a fucking trap game because they got Purdue next week, and they're just tough. They're up. They're up. They were in control. Oh,
Right
I'm
now,
not gonna sit here and bitch and moan and be like, well, I was disappointed. Like, totally surprised with how good Illinois is. They could split the last 2 games, and the season would be a tremendous success. It'd be 8-4.
That's a great year.
Yeah, dude, that's
with a possible bowl one.
Minnesota, Illinois, Purdue, and Iowa are all 4-3 in conference.
It's that division,
and no
is
one controls
so
their
bad.
own destiny. So
Yeah.
there's no thing where it's like, well, if you win out, you go.
Until
it all depends on
last
like,
week,
the results of every
Northwestern
game.
still could have mathematically won that division.
Yeah.
That's how fucking disgusting it is.
Northwestern has lost 9 in a row.
And I want to say 15 of 16.
Chicago's Big Ten team.
It's tough.
It's really brutal.
Tough having purple billboards around the city. Like, do they still do that?
Yeah, they do.
They pulled the funding for that stadium.
They didn't. I mean, he's got so many billions of dollars. He just,
Yeah.
here's some for you. Here's some for you. But was gonna save this for the end of the show. If you watch Pat Fitzgerald's news conference, it was live after the game, but it was aired on the internet the next day. It sounds like he's going to be making wholesale changes. I'm talking like firing everybody. And he doesn't come out and say that shit to the media.
What did he say?
So the reporter that asked him, Fitz has always been kind of a dick to people that push him in situations like this, because he's had down years before, and it's like, well, what are you going to do? He's like, believe, and he'll like get short and
He did it to you a little bit.
kind of a little bit, but he was
Yeah.
more busting balls, like,
Yeah.
because he knows our interview style. But the reporter asked him, he used his own words against him. He's like, Coach Fitz, you have said countless times in over the years that I've been in your post game interviews that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. On that note, you guys have lost again. A few weeks back, you said it was just 6 bad days in the season. You guys are working hard to get better. Now it's 9 bad games. The defense still hasn't improved. The offense is regressing big time since Bajakian's first year in the 2020 season. Like, how can you say that you're not going to make changes and then not call yourself insane at the same time or something? And Fitz was like, basically, you could see him being like, oh, fuck, you got me. So he answered, he's like, yeah, after the season, our focus for the remainder of the season is, getting the seniors to go out on top. And that's how Fitz is, because he really cares about his players and all that. And he's like, and then it's on me to figure out what the mess is and to make changes after this season. So I think we're going to see like a national search. And from what I understand, the boosters are not happy right now. So like holding
you're
feet to the
1-9.
fire. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
And it's 3 out of 4 years, right?
yeah,
With nine losses?
2018 they won the Big Ten West. 2019 they had a down year. 2020 they won it again. And then the last 2 years, 2021 and 2022, they've been I haven't gone to a game since Michigan opening night on 2021.
What was their preseason like Vegas line win total?
I think 4.
4. Okay.
And after they beat Nebraska to start this year, I'm like, okay, I think they can, make
Get
a
to
ball.
6,
Yeah,
yeah.
get to 6. But Nebraska's every bit of a dumpster fire as they are.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It really sucks.
And it's just, if like that division's not good, like you said, but you could say everybody has leapfrogged them except for Nebraska.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So
We'll see. They can turn around quick, though. It's a transfer portal year. Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll see. It's still going to be the Wild West for a few years, but
yeah.
on that note, I did say I'm embarrassed. Like, you've seen me out. I like wear that like a badge of honor because there's not many Northwestern fans that are out there. I am embarrassed. Like, if it's brought up like, oh, who do you for? I'll like put my head down. Oh, I'm a Northwestern fan. It sucks. Never had that feeling as long as I've been rooting for them, which is going on 30 years. Mm-hmm. So,
Any Notre Dame thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I think they turn chicken shit into chicken salad kind of situation where, you lose to Marshall, you lose to Stanford. Like, those are horrendous losses, but it's, and you could like, those are types of losses that could turn you into Northwestern for a year. But they kind of circled the wagons and got it under control. They found their identity as a team, which is just punch you in the mouth with 3 different running backs and a nasty offensive line and great blocking tight ends. And Tommy Rees schemed something up to get Mayer involved, get a couple receivers involved. Like, when they beat Clemson, I think Drew Pine had like 9 completions. Like, it's so different from what the majority of college football is doing. And I think that, they escaped against Navy. They kind of took their foot off the gas. They'll play Boston College this weekend. And I think that they're going to beat USC out there, because I think that they finished 9-3, and Utah kind of punched USC in the mouth. Notre Dame is similar DNA, where I think they're going to be able to be physical and run the ball. And 9-3 that would be over their preseason win total, which was 8.5 for Freeman's first year. They're going to have, I think, 4 if they beat SC, 4 or 5 top 25 wins, because Syracuse, Clemson, North Carolina was in the top 25 and they beat them. So they ended up having a pretty good year. They still have the number 3 recruiting class. If they beat USC, I mean, it's not like the standard, but it's like a year that you can be proud of, with a backup quarterback, like a lightly recruited backup quarterback, and hopefully this like slingshots the Freeman era into a place where they're going to be, they're still a program. And so I like this team. It's fun to watch. Like, that Clemson game was so fun, just because that is the type of football I like to watch, where you just make the other team quit. Like, you just physically dominate them until they quit, and that's what Notre Dame did. So I think the future's pretty bright there.
Yeah, that finale is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Play some spoiler.
Yep. So
Notre Dame gets the benefit of, because things started slow this year, right? Like, we were like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that was the case for no outsiders looking at it, was like, ooh, this guy might be tough. Now, obviously,
No,
at this
people
point,
were saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, now everybody,
Yep.
rightfully so, he's turning around.
They lost a couple of recruits. Like, it was bad.
It's enough for Marcus Freeman to indefinitely be walking around and telling people, hey, people don't believe in us.
Oh, yeah.
They get
That's
that
a good
like,
point.
just a couple weeks, and now that chip can be there it could be 6 years from now. Marcus Freeman will go,
Yeah.
I'll remember when people wanted us out, and we fight that every day.
Yep.
It's a great pitch. So
Yeah. And they're
empowering stuff to come back like that.
Yeah, so they're I think they're a pretty good football team. Like, they obviously have big time holes, but they have corners for the first time maybe ever. Like, they have that freshman Benjamin Morrison, who put on a clinic against Clemson. He looks like an NFL corner. I think they've had one. They had Julian Love, and that's the only one I can remember in the last so many
Good
years.
Nazareth kid.
Julian Love.
Correct.
Yeah. And I didn't know that, actually.
Same as JJ McCarthy.
And so they got a good football team. They got a good football team. They need, they got to have, they can never get a quarterback, but if they ever do get a quarterback, they're going to be in a good spot. So I'm very happy with the team. And yeah, I started doing that thing where I was doing push-ups, because it was like that Stanford week, and I'm just going to do push-ups because all my teams are an embarrassment, and then all of my teams just start winning. So Forest is good now. Notre Dame's pretty good. The Bears are no longer an embarrassment. The Blackhawks are not an embarrassment. So it's been a fun month here as a sports fan for me.
I'll tell you who's about to get embarrassed.
Who's that?
The Lake Forest Foresters.
Who are they playing? You guys?
The North Central Cardinals in the opening round of Division III playoffs.
I don't know if you guys were following the high school football. St. Charles North just got knocked out by Rita.
Yeah, I'm following.
really?
Yeah.
I think I'll be there this weekend.
Beware.
Big game. Rita Carmel.
Yeah.
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 Rita.
Yeah, Rice got taken to the woodshed.
Carmel's tough, dude.
Yeah, it's tough, but you know
Carmel's
what? Like,
tough.
Carmel's very good. They're number one in the state. They've got a completely different offense. They're spreading the ball around. The quarterback's very good.
But I feel good, though. I feel good. I think Rita got this.
Do you cheer for Rita because you have buddies from Rita?
Yeah, I'm going Rita this weekend.
Do you have Carmel buddies from Southern, or
Not
mostly
really.
Rita?
Not really. I
have Rita
know
high
a
school
couple
football
Carmel
game
people,
and
but not as many Rita people. So I'm definitely I'm going Rita this weekend.
Carmel guys come from all over too.
Yeah.
Because they'll come
Yeah,
from
you got North Suburbs.
Indiana,
Yeah.
way west suburbs, way
Mount
south,
Carmel.
way north. Yeah, Mount Carmel.
Mount
Mount
Carmel.
Carmel.
Okay.
Mount
Yeah,
Carmel,
people come from like all over for that. So.
Yeah, they had
and they
kids
have a
from
really
Indiana
small.
when we
People
played
don't,
them.
like there's only like 125 kids in that class.
Yeah,
Maybe.
man. It's the week one they played, and then for an opportunity to go downstate,
Huge.
and I mean, you can't draw it up better than that. I mean, a little different obviously this year. Carmel's fucking loaded, but hey, this is what you want, right?
Yeah.
Two prides of the South Side going at it, so it's going to be
Is that
fucking
what you want?
awesome. It's
Yeah,
actually
I would put Carmel Rita. You know how hard this is for me to admit this publicly too. I'd put Carmel Rita slightly better rivalry than Rice Marist. It's got way more hate and way more like history and shit. The Rice Marist rivalry is just because they're literally right next. They're a mile away from each other.
Yeah.
2 miles away from each other. And oftentimes the kids across the street, your neighbors, you'll just go to different schools. And so the hatred it's not even like hatred. It's just like, oh, whatever. You go to Marist, you suck. The Rita Carmel thing is like a battle of like, those are the tough school. Those are the tough kids.
Yeah.
Those are the kids that like they started drinking first. They got into fist fights first. They, were getting hand jobs first. Their facial, everything about those kids are just like more
I read
rough.
I read a article the other day saying how the average like testosterone level for men in America is like declining every year since 1980. Not down there. Like like they got
that's just going up and up.
And my dad went to the North Rita game, and he was just like, you could tell right away. It was like Rita's just a different.
Rita's got some big boys.
Yeah,
up
that's
front
what he said.
too.
He's like, they're
they got a big line.
That's like their rep. Like they
Yeah.
usually have a bigger offensive line.
My dad said something
Carmel
like,
has more militant, disciplined linemen that are smaller and pull. And
Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen both teams play this year, and almost got some backs that are motherfuckers.
Yeah.
There's no denying that, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, North has a kid going to Iowa State as a running back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like they were a very good football team this year, and my dad said like if you were gonna pick the 12 biggest guys in the game, they're all on Rita.
Yeah.
Like they're just
They're big.
They're big
Their
nasty
line's big,
boys.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the game? Gately?
It's at Rita.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's really unique and cool that they're going to play for an opportunity to go downstate after playing week 1. So,
That tailgate scene is
it's gonna be
be
wild.
about as good as the city of Chicago has to offer, I think. Right?
I believe
surprised
it's
they
on
didn't move the
Marquee.
game.
I believe it's on Marquee.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Good for Marquee
Yes.
fucking network.
Really smart. I could be wrong, but I think I saw that
It
somewhere.
should be. If it's not, like they should do that.
Very smart by them. But awesome. Very good from a Chicago level.
Yeah.
And also there's other good games going on. York Loyola is going to be a strong game. Ignatius is playing for a chance to go downstate, and also the Ignatius story with the JV hockey team. Horrible tragedy. So our thoughts are with them.
Yeah, definitely. It is, and kind of a buddy of mine is involved with that program, Spencer. So it sounds like people are going to be okay, but it's a horrible situation. So yeah, prayers to those kids.
Yeah, and they're playing Prairie Ridge, so that's
a good program.
Traditional power.
Yeah.
So it's a great weekend of high school football. Lincoln Way East, Glenbard West is another 8A matchup.
Ooh,
so that's
the fucking Hilltoppers from Glen Ellen.
Yeah.
Where's that one?
that is at Frankfurt. It's at
I love high
That's,
school football.
that's a long ass bus ride for Glen Ellen.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. 40 minutes or so.
What's it, 350?
355 to or 294 you'd probably take.
Just saying, little edge there.
But yeah, a lot
I wonder
of
what Joe Dish is doing to prepare for that one. Sorry.
Naz is still alive too.
All those Driscoll kids. All that Driscoll runoff still paying dividends
And
for
Providence still
Nazareth.
alive too.
Really?
Yeah, Providence still alive too.
Formidable 5A program back in my day.
Oh yeah,
Those
4A
Providence
now.
Celtics. Are they?
Yeah, 4A now. Everything's so different now, man. It's crazy.
I miss the days of just 1A and 2A. They didn't have it for football. It was always 8A, but for basketball,
is one of
baseball,
them, yeah.
all the sports, it was just like 1A, 2A.
Yeah.
It was so watered down when it was fucking 4A for baseball.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple things baseball related. Cubs released Jason Heyward formally. They should have a lot of money to spend this offseason. Someone was saying over $300 million for Carlos Correa. So we'll see what happens. Congratulations to Ian Happ on winning a Gold Glove too.
Yeah, nice.
Hopefully he gets paid a little bit more in arbitration because of that. But Wilson Contreras doesn't sound like he's coming back. Some people say he could go to the Cardinals.
Oof.
He's also the Astros have reportedly a ton of interest in Anthony Rizzo and Wilson Contreras, which is funny. The Astros are in the middle of some clusterfuck in the front office. They fired some people. The owner's signing guys now. But what's important is 2 years ago, the Cubs were like, we're not building around these guys, right? I get it. We know the story in and out of selling off the World Series players. It's just funny that like 2 years later, The Astros in free agency, like allegedly their top 2 targets are 2 of those guys that years ago the Cubs were like, I don't know. And if you remember in 2017, I think the Cubs could have traded for Justin Verlander. Instead, they got Cole Hamels, I believe, or maybe it was 2018. In any event, Justin Verlander, they were like, we don't like Verlander. He ended up going to the Astros. The Astros liked him. So that would be devastating if Anthony Rizzo went to the Astros. Not really devastating. It would actually be great because he probably hit like 40 fucking home runs.
Yep. I bet you Rizzo fills out Roback pretty nice.
Oh, fuck. You're so right, Chief.
Yeah.
Because he's relaxed, he looks good, he travels a lot. Tell me about Roback.
They got the quarter zips, they got the hoodies, they have those performance polos. You got to do it. So now that it's the holiday season, there is no better gift than Roback. That is something that, like, as I get older, nothing brings me joy, but I never have clothes. So that's the best gift to get to anybody who's probably from their mid-20s until they die, is just get them some clothes. I'm going to be looking for my dad and my brother. Those brand new performance joggers are spectacular. Dave, you love them all the time. That's like your favorite garment, I feel like.
Oh,
you wear them every day.
I'm not kidding. When you walk into Barstool HQ in New York, I would say 70% on any given day are wearing the hoodies.
Yeah.
They're the most comfortable. I'm not even saying that because they're ad partners now. They are the most comfortable hoodies of all time.
And I think Eddie brought up my guy Michael Mayer earlier today. He's got a nice little NIL deal with Roback. I saw his Instagram post. The guy looks, he always looks sensational, but he looks great in that Roback. So if you want to get Roback and you want to get 20% off your first order, just go to roback.com and use that promo code RED. That's spelled RHOBACK.com. 20% off all polos, quarter zips, hoodies, and joggers with that promo code RED. So guys, you gotta check that out.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
The absolute best. You know who else probably fills it up pretty well?
Who?
Marion Hossa. Talk about a hoss, big shoulders, looking good. So they are retiring his number this Sunday. I think it's everybody's dad's favorite player, arguably the greatest free agent signing. It's like him and Lester in the city of Chicago. I love that man. He was at the Bears game on Sunday, and it's just like when you see him, it's just like, oh man, I miss you because you were perfect.
Now, how long was he with the
10 to 17, something like that.
Is that a little too short for a jersey?
They don't win 3 cups without him. He is
okay.
He really, Dave. Like
that's a fair question though.
Totally,
on paper.
Totally. But he is. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer because he's got all like the bench with 500 goals, the games played, everything. He did everything perfectly. He's strong as an ox, fast.
Oh, he's a
bomb of a
athlete.
shot. You could not get the puck off of him. He's unbelievable defensively. In terms of just like if you were gonna like coach a kid and like try to mold him, you're like, hey, this is the guy. This is the guy. And I think the way, like I have like vivid memories of, it was either like the day before Thanksgiving or the day after Thanksgiving was his first game in 2009.
I remember when they traded him. It was New Year's Eve.
I'll tell you because I actually do remember. So they signed him in the summer and then he had a shoulder injury. So he didn't start the season. So he came in right around Thanksgiving and it was against the San Jose Sharks and he scored 2 goals in that first game. You're like, oh, this guy is way different than any other hockey player. And so to me, it's like, you know, maybe like you said, he doesn't have the longevity of the other guys that have had their numbers retired or the other guys who
they
are
weren't lifelong. Yeah.
But he is, because he's so perfect and he's such like a good person by all accounts, that he deserves it. And because he embodies like everything you want out of a hockey player. So I fucking love that guy. I might make it a point to go to that game because I think it's like how often you get to be in the building when someone has a banner raised. The Hawks haven't retired a number since probably Savard, I think, or maybe Magnuson and like I don't know, but it's been a long time, and he's certainly worthy, and he's like the first of this like golden era to be immortalized like that. So or memorialized, whatever it is, like he's great and he deserves it. And you know, and the vibes are kind of high with the Hawks too. Like they're playing well, they play hard. Taves looks great. I saw an interview with Davidson, And like he gave a quote where it's like, yeah, I don't know about trading those guys. Where it's like they're absolutely could be back next year. Cap's going up, their numbers are going down, and it's just like you know, I think that they're going to be kind of, I don't know. Like I don't think they're not. If you trade them at the deadline, you're never going to be bad enough at that point to get the number 1 pick. So you might as well just fucking keep him and try to re-sign him. And I'm probably breaking Tom's heart over there, who's had Patrick Kane jerseys already pre-made for the Rangers. But I think I am starting more and more every day that they're going to get to a point where it just makes more sense to keep them. And they're not going to be. I'm like 90% sure they won't be in a playoff spot, but they're definitely not going to be in the bottom 5 either. So, and
Tom, I thought you were an Isles fan.
Is this a
Not
joke?
taking that beat.
It was a good try.
Yeah,
It was a good try.
yeah. So yeah, it's been fun. They're a fun team to
They're
like.
fun
and-
bad like the Bears, it seems
Yeah,
like.
yeah, because they're not an embarrassment, and they're
Right.
you know, and it's like they signed all these guys like Athanasiou and Domi to these 1-year deals, and like Athanasiou is not like a tough guy by any stretch, but he forechecks fucking hard, and he puts his shoulder down and takes the puck to the net, and it's just like, so they just, doesn't matter like what your role is on the team, everybody's pretty tough. And you know, Colin Blackwell and like these guys who are just tough, fast, smart hockey players. And you know, and you see them play Carolina last night. They played Carolina Monday night. Plenty of good seats available. Get on that Game Time app, because the lower bowl, I know it was a Monday night, but Jesus, it was looking pretty barren. But they lost 3-0, or maybe 3-1. But they're still like, Carolina is one of the better teams in the league. They're still generating chances. They just don't have like the high end skill required necessarily to score every night. But then, you know, they had the dad's trip out in California. They get 3 out of 4 points. They're competitive every single night, and that's you know, if rooting for that is wrong, then I don't want to be right, because I really love watching that team. So I'm excited for Sunday with Hossa.
Hoss.
The big Hoss.
Can I? Is that it for Hawks?
Yeah,
Can I bring up the other team that plays there?
I would love that.
Is that cool with you?
How many games did they play?
14. They're
Yeah,
6 and 8.
6 and 8. I watched them against the Pelicans.
The season started right now. That would not make the playoffs.
Yeah,
A lot of people
Disarray.
Dude, the NBA can shave fucking 20 games off this schedule. Easy.
at this point they could.
started at Christmas.
Because I'm not saying that. I like the NBA. I like the
Me too.
playoffs. Fucking January, February roll around. It's great. This is crazy. Like, I can't.
I have two thoughts. Well, A, just an observation, and a question, I guess. Did we? And it's being asked a lot of places. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have seen what's going on in the West with the Utah Jazz, and a player that we drafted, Lauri Markkanen. He's like the best player on the team.
But that was talked about years ago. We'd always said what's going to happen with Lauri is.
Yeah, and like we fucked him up, like Boylan severely. Like put him on the bench, like told him to stop shooting three. Like it was tough, but
Yeah,
Hey, he's averaged 22 and 9. What's the big deal about that, Ed?
it's pretty fucking good, Dave.
That's pretty good.
And also, like the Magic seem to be very happy with Wendell Carter. And I don't know.
It's saying the shines off of our boy AK a little bit.
I don't know. It just did.
I've seen a lot of, I mean, and granted, this is just like in passing. I don't ask or follow up on these, but I've seen a lot of tweets calling for Billy Donovan's head.
I can't really get on board with it. We're 14 games into the year.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
like this is.
The other thing, and this team is still not at full strength. Like, you know, Lonzo being out is like I think people forget how important he was to that team when they were the 1 seed last year. Lonzo was pulling the strings, and you know that team was so fun to watch. They shared the ball. That was great basketball. It wasn't like ISO bullshit like the NBA is typically turned into. It was great. It was great to watch. And with you know, I don't know. It's starting to give me Derrick Rose vibes.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like who knows? They probably don't reach that potential if they stay with us, right?
Probably.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But-
I mean, that's the environment. Like, you go to Orlando, they trade for you. We want you. We're going to build around you.
Yeah.
You can't overstate how toxic the Bulls environment was between Garpax and boiling.
Super toxic.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know. You just see what we did, and I don't know. Like, I guess you're definitely still in trust AK mode, but at some point, it's like, do we make all those moves just to be? And we said the word purgatory is so prevalent that we make all those moves just to be an NBA purgatory, and it makes you wonder, right? It does for me.
I don't, because of next year's, like, isn't everything about next year's free agency class and the cap space and the players that are available then?
Yeah.
So, last year was a nice story, a nice surprise, like a very successful season, all metrics considered. Where like we're in January being like, yo, did you hear about DeMar?
Yeah, but that was cool. But then,
Sure.
like, what was,
But there's no fucking championship. There's no chance I win that championship. That, like, maybe at the best you get an exciting first round matchup and you go 6 games in second round. Like, you can look at that team and know for a fact we can't watch this for a championship. So you just have to get, that's and the NBA more than any other fucking league sport where hey, these games don't really matter towards the pursuit of a championship. So if they do get Jokic, it sounds like he's got his hand in everybody in the free agency.
Yeah, it's so hard to talk about the NBA.
Yeah.
And like it really is. It really is, because it's like there's just so many teams that could win it, and like, that's really it. And like we had fully admit, like, we come from like a meatball perspective on the show, but like if I'm AK, I'm looking at what's going on in LA, and I know they said Anthony Davis is not available, but
Really?
just keep an eye on it, dude.
Yeah.
Really?
If you fucking, would you do that?
Isn't he hurt all the time?
He's hurt a lot, but I mean, he's been playing this year. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what would you realistically give up? I have fired up the trade machine, and Vooch, Io, and Kobe White would get it done. They'd probably want Patrick Williams instead of Kobe White, but that does get it done.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat, obviously. I've been watching enough of...
Do they do that?
I've watched enough of
picks.
fucking Vooch on roller skates at the top of the key trying to play pick and roll D. Patrick Williams, though. Like, I do agree with you. It's hard to talk about the NBA because if you want to have like an effective NBA conversation, we'd have to come in here and be like, yo, did you see that fucking dunk? Or, we'd be talking about the 8th player on the Portland Trailblazers, and you just get excited about everything. Like, that to me is NBA culture, where like everything fucking matters. Like, yo, dude, that guy's so sick. And obviously we're not those guys. It's not how we interact with the sport.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy.
No, they're talking about the per. They're talking about
efficiency rating.
Like, they watch the
Yes,
post-game
exactly,
presser just as close as they'll watch a game and be like, yo, I can't wait to see like what fucking Doncic says about this and that.
Correct.
Or what Russ is wearing, or fucking he's mad about something.
Yeah.
So we're not really that deep into it. I'll say this, though. We're going to come and talk about the Bulls casually, briefly, once a week. There is some stuff I'm interested in.
Guys,
What are people saying about Patrick Williams? He's 21 years old. He's playing 25 minutes a game. He's averaging about 10 points, coming back from fucking missing most of last year.
Started the season poorly, playing a little better lately.
Yeah.
But you see those players who we gave up on too early, you could say, or maybe they just weren't in the vision. We gave them a shot. They didn't, AK was like, I'm out. You just can't. I don't know. We just.
Every GM wants to have their guys too. Like, I think that's part of the equation. And like we said, the Bulls are 6-8. The Warriors are also 6-8.
Yeah.
So like, let's not like just throw dirt on this group yet. But I think you're right. Like, the teams that can win it. I don't think the Bulls are one of them. But we'll see. We're
back to enjoying the Bulls the way it was when they were like competitive with Carlos Boozer, but Derrick Rose was injured. Or like, what were those years? You know what I'm talking about?
With Joe Kim, when they were like running the offense through.
Joe was like a point forward, point center.
Yeah.
The way that I interacted with those Bulls teams was primetime games, big matchups. Those are obviously on.
Was different though.
Or, you just, it's like, oh, fucking Bulls are on against the Nets. Like, I'll throw that on. And then next thing you know, you're just like, it's the fucking middle of the third quarter. You haven't done shit. You're just sitting on your couch like, fuck, man. And then if somebody's like, hey, I got Bulls tickets, and you're like, how much? But he's like, don't worry about it. I got it from my uncle. You're like, yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with this Bulls team. I'll go. You got free tickets. You want to go catch a game on like a Wednesday,
DM
Thursday.
Carl if you got free tickets.
That's even you know what I you know.
Yeah.
But I am not like seeking them out.
Yeah.
And who like this is all
300 level only.
this is all subject to change, right? Like it's not like the height of this. It's not the height of the fever, you know.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
our 8th
It's
priority.
November.
Yeah, we'll give more time for high school football until about Christmas.
I actually
Yeah,
would
yeah.
significantly rather spend my time talking about Rita Carmel and
Big time.
Lincoln Way East and Glenbard West.
Fuck yeah.
By the way, Glenbard West was a fucking sickest stadium. One of the coolest high school football stadiums. in
I
the
returned to
country.
punt for a touchdown at that stadium.
How old were you?
16.
There's like a fucking lake in there. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like,
Lake Ellen. It's
surrounded by tree. It looks like something
If
out
you
of
Google the best high school stadiums in the country, it's always on all those top 25 lists.
I'm surprised that those lists kind of exist, to be honest. Why would you Google that?
Is Glen Ellen an underrated suburb?
Glen Ellen's a great suburb.
Glen
It's
Ellen's nice.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I think so.
Home of the Flames back in the day.
Because I think a lot of people are like, once you go that far west, they're like, oh, we get to Elmhurst, we just stop. It's like,
It's just south of
People
Elmhurst.
do say that, and then they keep going another 20 miles to get to my hometown.
and they're like, this is
Right.
this is nice.
Another
Yeah.
10 to get to mine.
Yeah.
I heard
Brandon-
St. Charles downtown's nice.
Yeah, it's
Downtown
a
St. Charles is awesome.
It's a big
It's a
time
really
bar
fun
scene.
town. Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of bars there.
You been?
No, I but you said it, and I instantly thought of downtown Arlington Heights, which I very much like.
I've heard that as well. Never been, but downtown
About to get
St.
them.
Charles is a lot of fun.
Yeah, right by the river. They got. Yeah, I can't. It's been a long time since I've been out in downtown St. Charles, but yeah, they got a lot of bars.
I've actually, the older I've gotten, like within the last year or so, I've really started to enjoy like going out to like the suburbs, downtowns. Now that my buddies live in different, we're in Arlington Heights.
Have any of you guys ever been out in downtown Naperville?
Fucking Elmhurst.
Yeah,
Downtown Naperville's a good time.
It's just like, there's this great Italian place by the train station if you want to Uber out after work. And it's like, man, if you asked me that a couple years ago, I would have laughed in your face. And now I'm like, oh, I can't wait. I'll get home from work. I'll put on a fucking collared shirt.
actually, the last time I was out in downtown St. Charles was right before the pandemic. My sister got married, and we had like the rehearsal dinner, and then a lot of people went out afterwards. And I had this super hot English teacher, and I saw her out.
Did you hit on her?
I did not, because I like pussed out, and it was wildly inappropriate. But I'm like, that's Miss. And
I know. I remember my hot teacher.
Yeah, I don't want to say her name.
She's up
Was
to
she
these
single or no?
I didn't go up. But
You should have.
I mean, no, just like
You.
she's probably.
You were undressing her with your eyeballs from across the
I'm
fucking.
trying to. So I think
river.
she was like 20. She was like 24 when I had her as a teacher. So
Can you believe this guy?
now she's got to be almost like in her late 40s, probably, right? If I was
So
16,
what?
I'm trying to do the math. That's not a so what, but my point was she could still get it.
Yeah,
I
late
would-
40s.
and you didn't hit on her?
What am I gonna do?
Yeah,
Take her
sure.
back to my parents' house like I always fantasized about back in the day? Yeah, no.
Or her house?
What do you want me to do?
Bang her in your dad's garage.
Yeah.
I want. We'll talk about this later. We need to have a word about this.
What? How mad are you that Chieftain fucked
Yeah,
his
seriously.
English teacher, Dave?
You always have to at least try. 'Cause
Have you
the
ever tried?
Story. I've never been in a situation where I could. But you know what I do?
Think
Probably
about
the
it.
exact same thing. you
Yeah,
did.
exactly.
Probably.
I had something else.
I hope I would.
Spicy mark kick. I'm on a spicy margarita kick. Tweeted about that. Just want to say that out
Chuck
loud.
Naso made me a great espresso martini this week. Not a spicy margarita, not the same drink, but I thought it was really cool.
He's
White
like,
Sox Dave checking in also drinks alcohol.
I think we all consume alcohol here, don't we?
Some Miller Lights.
I was really surprised, though. I'm assuming it's somewhat difficult to make a espresso martini, right? I could be wrong, but I was like, whoa, this is pretty good
Isn't a
stuff.
martini just fucking booze in a glass with an olive?
I have no fucking clue. I'm not a goddamn mixologist.
Ask Mr. Olive Lance.
Tom is over here making martinis at night. I can see Tom going home and like shaving a lemon.
I swore I was going
Lemon
to be that
zest?
guy. I never got into
Like
that.
zest in a glass. You wanted to? I wanted to.
I thought like, like when I moved out here, it was like the first time like having my own apartment. I was like, maybe I'll be like one of those guys. Has like a bar cart, has like all like the bartender stuff. Never done it.
Great wrinkle in my marriage. My wife out of nowhere just became like just fucking starts making cocktails. Made my own simple
whiskey on the rocks.
Syrup.
That's my cocktail.
It's moot point, I guess, last point, but I think we'll be at Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
Today.
Go Huskies.
Yeah.
Or
Yesterday.
So,
That's a moot point.
Yeah, moot point.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
You guys missed it. It was a lot of fun.
dude, I had a blast. So it was good seeing you guys.
I like the Cal.
Thanks everybody who came out. Congratulations to Northern.
We'll recap it next week.
Yeah.
We'll recap it right now.
Hopefully that one
awesome.
guy's knee is okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, robust show. Good luck to the Bears this weekend against the Falcons. We will be back after that game on Twitter Space. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. We're very close to 53,000, and you guys all remember what happens when we get to 53,000. Tune in next week to find out. Until then, all guys.
No breaks.
DJ, play that shit.